Well, that was squeaky. It's been a week since GDC. I figured it might be useful, like with uh, a week's hindsight, to recap on what I thought about GDC as an experience and if I thought it was worth it as a games developer and a composer, like what I took from it and what I could do better next year and stuff like that. I guess this is primarily aimed at people like me who have been thinking about going to GDC for years and years and never actually got off our asses and did it. And this is my first year going after 23, I don't know, 23 years in the industry, I guess. I got COVID at the end of it, and excuse my little raspy voice. Um, I think my takeaways are yes, it was worth it. Yes, it's expensive getting yourself over to San Francisco and all that business, especially if you're living in the UK or Europe and stuff like that. It's a lot of travel and accommodation expenses, and San Francisco is not cheap. Um, I paid $8 for a can of Mountain Dew at the convention center, and that's a lot of money. Um, I think it is worth it. I think some takeaway things that I learned from it were from friends of mine that go a lot, and people I've got a lot of respect for in the industry. Um, People like Thomas Neumann and Martin Stig Anderson, who both said that they don't try to overplan what they're going to do when they're there. They just go and let GDC happen. I tried to plan a load of meetings, and to be honest, it was incredibly stressful just trying to manage those. And obviously, people need to move times and stuff like that. I think that was one of the points early in my time there where I just felt a bit overwhelmed and stuff. And on the subject of overwhelming as well, the actual expo hall and the 30,000 people that are there and stuff, it's a lot. So just you need to mentally sort of steel yourself for crowds and huge spaces and stuff like that, to make sure that you don't get burnt out quickly. Because one of my last days, I just felt so burnt out. I didn't. I had a few meetings and then I kind of just had to sort of chill for quite a few hours. So I think prepare yourself for the noise and the chaos and the crowds and the people and stuff. Maybe prepare a few meetings if they're super important, but generally, a lot of the good stuff that happened for me, which is what I'd heard, is just from wandering around talking to people. You know, make sure you got business cards. It's pretty old school, but it's. I came back home with a load of ones people had given me, and I handed out a load of my own. Make sure they're memorable and cool, and it just helps you remember the conversations you'd had. My agent from Defiant Talent gave me some great advice, which was when you're talking to people, if you're making a good connection, just get your phone out and say, "Can I add you on LinkedIn?" And then get their name and details on LinkedIn, add them, and then just take a picture on your phone so the next morning you can remember all the people that you've met, because there's a lot of like random connections and stuff. So that's all good. Um, I think it's worth it. I think the best advice of all from the whole weekend was from the very talented Crispin Hands, composer friend of mine. And he said it's not about going to one GDC and coming home and you've got a cool new gig the next day. It's about repeat appearances, about getting your face recognized and just appearing, talking to people, building up human rapport with people that you want to get work from, or that you want just being part of the community of game dev and composers and stuff. So let's summarize my takeaways. It's big, loud, noisy, and expensive, but it's worth it. I'd say if you're going to go once, go several years, which is what I plan to do. Maybe plan a few key meetings, but don't overload yourself. It's incredibly difficult to maintain them. And relax and enjoy it. I think that's something I need to remember next year. I was so worked up about making sure I made use of my time that I just spent a lot of the mornings getting overly stressed about stuff. And that was just silly in retrospect. So go to GDC, have a good time, make contacts. Don't treat it as an exercise in getting immediate new work or anything like that. Just be a part of the GDC community. And I think that's where the magic is.